Hello guys, we're going to go through geography lesson 4 this afternoon. We're going to look at how mountains are formed as well as the different types. As ever, we'll start with our vocabulary recap. Can you match the following words, mountain, outcrop, plateau, valley, with their definitions? Pause the video now while you have a think. Thinking back to last week's work now, where we looked at the features of a mountain, can you identify the features of the mountain below? Pause the video while you have a think. Let's have a look at its features. At the top is obviously the summit, and down the side is the face and the slope. The snow line can be found here, and the foot is at the bottom. Let's have a look at today's work now. We're going to look at the different types of mountains, but before we do that, we're going to look at how mountains are formed. Below is the different layers of the earth. In the middle is the inner core. The inner core is a thick ball of iron and is 5,200 degrees Celsius. Around the inner core is the outer core. It is here where the metal churns and creates the Earth's magnetic field. It's also as hot as the sun in parts. The thickest layer is the mantle. The activity in the mantle determines the Earth's landscape by driving plate tectonics, which we'll look at in a minute, causing volcanoes, seafloor spreading, earthquakes and orogeny, which is the geographical term for mountain building. Finally, the outermost layer is the crust. This is split between two types of crust, oceanic crust and continental crust. We're going to look at the crust in a bit more detail. Think of the Earth's crust as a bit of a jigsaw. The pieces are called tectonic plates. The churning of the mantle causes these plates to move, and where two plates meet, most geological activity, events such as earthquakes or volcanic eruptions, take place here. Now it's time to think about how the tectonic plates move and meet. Grab two pieces of paper and put them side by side. How can you move them? Pause the video while you explore. You may have found you can slide the pieces of paper past each other. When this occurs with tectonic plates, it is called a transform boundary. Mountains aren't created here, but they may trigger powerful earthquakes. Another way in which you might have moved the piece of paper is to slide them towards each other. In terms of tectonic plates, this is called a convergent boundary. This is when two plates collide, forcing the land up, thus creating mountains. A third way in which you may have moved the pieces of paper is to move them apart. When tectonic plates do this, it is called a divergent boundary. Magma rises through the crack and mountains and volcanoes are created. Now we've looked at how mountains are formed, we can look at the different types of mountain. There are 5 main types of mountain: fold mountains, fault block mountains, volcanic mountains, dome mountains, and plateau mountains. Let's have a look at each one in a bit more detail. Fold mountains occur when tectonic plates collide together. The edges of the plates crumple as they are pushed together. The rock of the Earth's surface is pushed up to create mountains. The Alps, found in Switzerland, is an example of a mountain range made up of fold mountains. Fold mountains are also the most common type of mountain found on Earth. Fault block mountains are formed when cracks in the Earth's surface open up and large chunks of rock can be pushed up while others are pushed down. This creates mountains with a long slope on one side and a sharp drop on the other. The Sierra Nevada mountain range in California, USA, is an example of a mountain range made up of fault block mountains. Volcanic mountains are formed around volcanoes. Volcanic mountains are made of layers of ash and cooled lava. Mount Vesuvius in Italy is a volcanic mountain. Dome mountains are smooth and round looking. They are formed when magma is forced up between the crust and the mantle but doesn't ever flow out. The magma makes the land bubble up like a balloon. Devil's Tower, USA, is a dome mountain. And finally, plateau mountains are different from the other mountain types. They haven't formed because of rock or magma being pushed up. They form because the material has been taken away through erosion, which has left deep valleys or gorges next to high cliffs. The Allegheny Mountain Range in USA is an example of a mountain range that is made up of plateau mountains. Now it's your turn. On your sheet are 5 mountains or mountain ranges found in Asia. You need to look at the features, then fill in the table before determining which mountain it is. We'll do one together on the next slide. This is Mount Kinabalu. I can see it has a long slope down one side and a sheer drop down the other. These are features of a fault block mountain, so I think Mount Kinabalu is a fault block mountain. Now have a look at the other 4 mountains on your sheet.